If someone asks you about Russia and only thing you can answer is bears, Moscow, cold and St. Petersburg, then this video is for you. I hope you're gonna like it, блять. Enjoy! Don't forget about subscription and like. Thank you. Welcome to the Russian Far East. Moscow is almost 9,000 kilometers away from here. The part of Russia where China, Japan, North Korea and even the United States feels closer than Moscow. The main city is Vladivostok, a Pacific port full of hills, bridges, seafood and Japanese cars. Russia drives right, but Vladivostok steering wheels have chosen Japan cars because it's closer and it's more affordable when European. Farther north there is Kamchatka. Volcanoes, earthquakes, bears, and landscape that look more than amazing. The Far East includes Sakha-Yakutia Republic. It's the largest republic in Russia. It covers more than 3 million square kilometers. Many different ethnic groups live there, including Sakha and Chukchi, with their own language, traditions, and way of life. And if you think the Far East and cold and empty, wait until we enter Siberia. Snow, birth, gulag. Hollywood has been recycling the script for decades. The reality is a little bit more complicated. The Siberia is a home for more than 30 million people. Its largest city is Novosibirsk, a major industrial, scientific and cultural center with more than 1 million people. Yes, Siberia has universities, theaters and Wi-Fi. Sometimes even indoors. Siberia is also home for many different peoples, including the Burats, Tuvans, Khakas and Altaians, each with their own languages, traditions and cultures. And then there is Lake Baikal, the deepest lake on Earth, holding around 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh surface water. Next we have to go to the mountains, the place we're supposed to separate Europe from Asia. Welcome to the Urals, Russia's industrial backbone, built around mountains, metal, oil and gas. The Ural Mountains are traditionally considered the border between Europe and Asia. We know this because several monuments say so, each in a slightly different places. The regional center is Yekaterinburg, one of the largest cities in Russia. The district is also home to a lot of different people, such as the Khanty, Mansi and Nenets. Farther south is Chelyabinsk, a city famous for factories, metallurgy and surviving an attack from space. In 2013, a meteor exploded above the region. Most cities check forecast for rain, Chelyabinsk check for incoming objects. From the mountains we move toward Russia's most important river. Welcome to the Volga region. This part of Russia gave world Lenin, AK and Lada cars. Built around the longest river in Europe. It's also home to Tatar, Bashkirs, Chuvash, Mari, Udmurts and Mordvins. Peoples with their own languages, traditions and national republics. In Kazan the mosques and Orthodox churches share the same skyline. There is also Zhiguli Mountains, the frozen chambers of the Kongor ice cave. Although when Russian hears Zhiguli, they probably think about that. Honestly, I like this version of Zhiguli better. Next, we leave the Great River behind and head south, when Russia becomes warmer, mountainous and much more complicated. Saying that is probably the fastest way to start an argument. The North Caucasus is the smallest federal district in Russia, but one of its most diverse. Dozens of languages spoken here, sometimes with surprisingly close distance. The region is also famous for wrestling and combat sport. It gave the world Khabib Nurmagomedov, and the internet gave the world Hezbollah, who is famous for many things, but professional sport is not one of them. Family, hospitality and tradition play a major role in everyday life. Next we move to the southern Russia, where Russia suddenly has palm trees, vineyards, beaches and 40-degree summers. The administrative center is Rostov-on-Don, but the place that completely ruins the fragile stereotypes of Russia is Sochi. It sits on the Black Sea and somehow hosted the 2014 Winter Olympics. Because when you think Winter Olympic, you obviously think subtropical beach resort. There are Cossack traditions around the Don and Kuban, and then there is Kalmykia. Kalmykia is only region in Europe where Buddhism is traditionally the majority region. In further north is Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad. This is where one of the deadliest and most important battles in human history took place, and today the city is dominated by one of the tallest statues in the world, the motherland calls. Next we go to north, where palm trees disappears and Russia start looks more like we expecting. Welcome to the Northwest Federal District. This district stretches from the imperial St. Petersburg to the Arctic Ocean. Its administrative center is St. Petersburg, the former imperial capital, famous for its palaces, canals, and white knights. Move further north and the landscape changes completely. There is Karelia with its forests and lakes, the White Sea, and the Murmansk region. The northwest is also home to Karelians, Komi, Nenets, Veps, and Sami. And then there is Kaliningrad, formerly Königsberg, located between Poland and Lithuania, and completely separated from the rest of Russia. Why? I don't know, don't ask me. And finally, we head to the district what thinks it's the center of everything. This is where Russia keeps its government, corporations, and suspicious amount of its money. Welcome to the Central Federal District. And its heart is Moscow. If you have seen the Hunger Games, imagine the capital, but with more traffic, colder winters, and significantly more paperwork. And the reason some foreigners think Russia consists of Moscow, St. Petersburg, and several thousand kilometers of loading screen. The district also includes industrial cities and the historical settlements of the Golden Ring. People come to Moscow from every part of Russia. But although a lot of locals still complain that everyone moved in, if you come from a distant Russian region, someone may ask you how you got a visa and what currency do you have in your country. And that is the end of our journey across the Russian federal districts. 8 districts, 11 time zones, and absolutely no agreement which one represents the real Russia. But does everyone living across this enormous country identify as ethnical Russian? Of course not. If somebody wants to know more about ethnicities in Russia, racism and problems inside that, just let me know in the comment and I'll make another episode. And see you around, Yopta.